All right, y'all. I've been getting more questions and more comments about, yo, you ain't responding to no comments in a minute. You right? So that's what we about to do today. We about to go through the comments. We're going to try again to get it in every week or every other week. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna waste no time today. We're going to get to as many comments as we possibly can, and let's go. All right, so we're going to start this off with Zero Sentry. He's talking about kids. The kid is extremely powerful. You just need to realize that we've only seen kids struggle this much because Kaido and Big Mom are likely his most difficult matchup. Both are seemingly impervious to physical damage, and that's kid's main thing. It's like saying Luffy was trash pre-time skip because he couldn't even scratch Smoker. Like, matchups are important. Matchups. This is a good topic. The importance of One Piece matchups. I tweeted this the other day, probably last week or week before last. I was like, yo, how important are One Piece matchups? I put up a poll, and people said they were important. Right? And I got quote tweeted by Morge, and Morge basically was like, nah, matchups don't matter that much, right? Because people jump to NL, right? People jump to NL, they jump to Kainu and Ace. It's a weird thing because matchups, I think, should matter a lot more than they do, but in the grand scheme of things, they really don't. They don't. Hockey matters more than anything. Of course, in certain situations, you think it would matter, but how often does it play out that way? The examples we have, Enel and Luffy, right, where that was built into the story, right? For Luffy to overcome Enel, or otherwise he wouldn't be able to. And we got Ace and Akainu, and that's, again, here's the thing. In most confrontations, how often is the matchup relevant? How often does the matchup decide the outcome? How often do we think of that? I feel like matchups should be more important. Like when you look at it like, oh man, that's an insane matchup. But more often than not, the matchup, it doesn't matter. The Enel and the Kainu and Ace thing, and I agree with Morge on that. Where Enel versus Luffy and a Kainu versus Ace, those are exceptions. People also bringing up Aokiji versus Ace. I was like, well, that was one clash. I don't know if that's relevant here, right? Bringing up Aokiji versus Ace is like saying, if they continue to fight, Ace would have won because of the matchup. No. Who'd take an L, right? I don't even know if you look at matchups and we think, oh my God, that's a bad matchup. We just think about like who probably has better hockey, or who do we think is stronger? Like, let's just think of two random people, Doflamingo and Ace. Okay, people gonna say, man, String, that's a bad matchup. Do you got Ace winning? I don't think you got Ace winning. Bad matchup though. I still got Dofi winning. So that's the thing though, right? That's the thing where it's like, typically the matchups don't matter unless it involves the Straw Hats or Luffy in particular. Because in One Piece, if you're strong, you got more hockey, you got more willpower, you're gonna win. Look at the matchup. Katakuri versus Luffy. Oh man, that's a bad matchup. He's better than Luffy at everything Luffy can do. Didn't matter. Luffy's the one. If you're stronger, you're stronger, right? Or y'all gonna tell me Luffy lost now? Y'all gonna jump on my side now? I think this is a topic that I can explain a bit better with more time, also using a lot more context clues and evidence from the story. But it's a very interesting conversation. That was a great start. Now for Kid, I didn't want to dwell on Kid. It's just like we've talked Kid into the damn ground. You're comparing Kid of right now to Luffy pre-time skip. And I jumped off the Kid hate train, right? It's just too many people on there now, right? I'm getting fucking claustrophobic. I'm like, nigga, I gotta get out there. It's just a weird comparison, that's all. Man, that was one question. We gotta get through it. My guy Clyde, he said Law's fruit can create electricity like Enel, create shockwaves like Whitebeard, create barriers like Baruto, scan people like Viola, cut matter like Inazuma, levitate objects like Shiki, teleport people like Kuma, silence people like Corazon, switch people's personalities, grant immortality, create zones without smiles and their side effects, automatically makes you the best surgeon in the world. How is that possibly fair? Please nerf. Law's devil fruit is incredible. I think it's the perfect devil fruit for a story because you can craft it to whatever situation, right? In Punk Hazard, you can remove souls, right? To have that funny moment with the Straw Hats. You can also take limbs apart, right? You can use it to also heal the kids in Punk Hazard, right? You can do so much with it, whereas it's the Opio to me, right? It's whatever in the room. You can control whatever in your room. So it's like this malleable power that Oda can do whatever he wants, and he can be as creative as possible. Because Oda, he's a creative mind, right? He sees something and he wants it to happen, and it's like nothing's going to stop him, and he's going to use the rules that he's established in the story, as crazy as it may be, and say, well, I didn't say this fruit could not do that, and he used law. As a law stand, do I have a problem with it? No. Is it overpowered? Should it be nerfed? Probably. Will it be? No, because Oda can also throw in that, oh, stamina issue. He can always do that. And so we're like, okay, well, yeah, you can't spam it, and everything for law is typically with help. It's aided. So you know what I'm saying? Katsu Magician says, this chapter only confirms to me that Big Mom will be back. She was finally defeated for once by Law and Kid, but as she said, this won't be enough to kill her. This defeat won't mean she won't be back with a vengeance and probably her crew next time. Kaido will be the only official Yonko to dethrone this arc, in my opinion. I agree with that. I plan on talking about Big Mom and what I think is going to happen to her going forward. I'll say this. I do think that a lot of people are tired of her. I'm tired of her shit, right? I'm just tired of her, period. But I like her. I'm a huge fan of Big Mom. I like the quirky, weirdo characters, right? When I talk about Hisoka, Doflamingo, I like characters that are just like batshit crazy, just different, right? Because, again, quirky. And for Big Mom, she is that. I don't like looking at situations and completely blaming a situation as to why a character is the way they are, because choices are a part of life. However, situations are what they are. That's a mouthful without saying much. But what I'm saying is Big Mom, she was abandoned as a child, right? Just abandoned. Parents left her, found a new family. In her mind, they abandoned her as well. So now she's trying to build up another family, but she wants them to be on the same level as her. So she's a product of her environment somewhat. I don't think she's a good person, right? But I think she's warped based on how she's been brought up. And then also Mother Carmel, how much of her personality is within Big Mom because she ate her alive, right? There's a huge theory going around about people and devil fruits altering personalities, something I plan on talking about as well, I promise. But yeah, Big Mom, if she goes to Elbaf, I think it could be an entertaining arc because I think Shanks will be involved, you know, everything with Loki. I think that's gonna be Usopp's moment to shine. So I'm not too mad at her going to Elbaf. I just don't want her to be the main focus, right? Like, I don't even want her to be as prominent as she was in Wano, but I would like to see her story be resolved. I would like to see her find peace. She is tormented, and it's, I don't know, man, it's sad. It's like a sad tale because of everything she's been through. She still doesn't know that she ate her family, right? Like, and when she finds out, it's gonna crush her. So we'll see. Doran Radu says, I guess the crime Zunisha made was betraying Joy Boy. Think about it. He was his companion. He was his companion, and as far as we can guess, he might be an ancient weapon. So in theory, nobody except Joy Boy can command him to walk for 800 years. He might have been fooled by that time world government into betraying Joy Boy. When he realized what he did, he punished himself by walking until the right person comes. He can ask for forgiveness, which I guess is either Momo or Luffy. Theory time. So not too mad at it. I guess a few things. If Luffy is Joy Boy, as we suspect, Luffy can't command anyone to do anything. He can only be someone to conduit to the people who can make commands. That's how I'm looking at it, right? So again, I think it could be a mask. I think it could be a cover-up. Zunisha is walking this long, not because, I guess in the mind of the world government at the time, he committed a crime, so he was punished, but I think it's protecting something. I think there's something important about the whale tree. I think there's something important about Zunisha that we're gonna find out, that she had to walk because, again, Vivicards can only find her, find it, whatever. So I'm not mad at that theory. It's just that I don't think Joy Boy could command anyone to do anything. I don't think Joy Boy had the voice of all things, I believe, but I don't think Joy Boy was an ancient weapon. I don't, unless Luffy's an ancient weapon as well. And again, this is based on the assumption that Luffy's Joy Boy. So. Craig Justin said, Big Mom is as defeated as Akainu was defeated by Whitebeard when he fell in the fissure. I don't know. I feel like I've become the Akainu and Admiral guy in the community, which is not that many people that stand up for the Admirals. For this topic, I'm just gonna let it be, right? I'm gonna just say this, Whitebeard to go, right? But Akainu's a goat as well, right? That's all I'm gonna say. Feel how you feel about it. Don't sleep on the Admirals. You feel me? Don't sleep on the Admirals. Ayanda Mafuyeka says, imagine if Joy Boy was an adventurer, I'm assuming, and Zunisha was a ship. Instead of a boat or ship, dude rode a sail on a flipping giant elephant. So, that sounds dope as hell. What? Zunisha being Joy Boy's boat? How do you lose, right? If your boat is an elephant, I don't think so. That's too OP, right? That's too OP. I mean, Big Mom ship was singing, but nah. Cool idea though. ASDFLKJ said, I was expecting Brago to say Zunisha committed a crime and that crime was not subscribing to this channel. Aha. Well, since you mentioned subscribing to the channel, now is the perfect opportunity to do that. If you'd like my questions or your questions to be read on the channel, subscribe, become a part of this. This is, we gotta get family going on over here, and I would certainly appreciate it. I didn't bring it up this time. They brought it up. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get to one more. I did spend a lot of time on that first question, but we're gonna get to one. A says, with as much foreshadowing as Oda does, we should have gotten some hints of them beforehand, and the fact that most of the Supernova weren't fleshed out, I never expected them to be actual rivals. The Supernova, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, they were out of the blue. They were something that Oda thought of, or Oda and his editor, something like that. Maybe I'll talk about it at some point. I believe people have made multiple videos on stuff like this, but yeah, that's something that was out of the blue. Like Oda thought of him, was like, hey, maybe I should have some other people competing with Luffy. And he had more plans for Kid than for Law, but Law he became fan favorite. And so it just ran with it. And I think that was probably one of the best audibles that Oda had, where it was like, all right, people like Law, I'm gonna keep building upon Law's character. Is Law a D? All right, I'm gonna make him a D. I don't know if that's what it was, but Trafalgar D, Water Law, what the hell does that mean? Anyway, yeah, I agree with that. It just felt like something that I like in shonen or just in stories, right? When you have the main character and somebody that's, they're clearly out ahead. They're the person that we're following, but then no, not so fast. There are other people competing for the same thing. And I think that's what's lacking in Zoro's journey. I got to talk about that because that's bothering me. It's bothering me because it could be so much better, right? Jesus. Sheesh. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about the second comment as well about Luffy's training with Rayleigh gets overlooked by most fans. This is a shonen manga. He was trained by Roger's right hand. His power-ups are the most predictable parts about the story. I don't think it's overlooked. A lot of people mention Luffy's training. Every time we talk about Luffy's strength and how strong and how far ahead he is, I just think it's unfair. When I say unfair, it's like nobody else has that luxury. Unfair is not the right word. It's just different, right? Other people don't have that luxury, so it's like they had no chance. In my video about Luffy that I made recently, I talk about Luffy being one of one. It's not a problem. He's just the special person to come along once in a lifetime. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, it's so convenient. Well, you know, it's like now when I think about shit like that, I'm just like, it's a story, man. Like, the character's not gonna die. You know, there are ways to write things, and even though it's a main character, to create tension, even not the specific main character, but people and things important to the main character, as Oda has done with Ace. More of that, right? More of that would be great, but it's fucking Luffy, bro. Come on, bro. It's Luffy. All right, I need one more. I need him. I'm having a good time, but I'm running out of time. J. James says, Luffy's just amazing. Every defeat he does, he deserves. It cannot downplay. Okay, let's do something else, James. Kai Reaper Y2N says, like Mihawk once said, one of Luffy's greatest abilities is gathering allies. Nobody does it better than him. I say this about Luffy. Throughout the story, we're following him, and as we went about it, it felt like Luffy could do anything, right? That's why Sabaody was so amazing, because it was one of the first times, or Sabaody, and also after Long Island arc, it was like, whoa, Luffy can be stopped. He's not all world yet, you know, but even Aokiji recognized it, right? And part of sparing Luffy had to do with Robin and wanting to see her story play out and her decisions she made. Even Aokiji, after Enies Lobby, his goal was to go and take her out because, or during Enies Lobby, the goal was to take her out because he wanted her to find her purpose, and he thought she had finally found a crew of friends that she could trust and be around. But I digress. The whole point of that is saying Luffy was not unstoppable, and Oda, that was a great throw-in to show that Luffy, he can be stopped, right? He's not invincible. But I think as many times as Luffy has succeeded, it's kind of implanted in his mind. It's so crazy, right? But it's so amazing. I've failed at times, right? Because I wasn't good enough. But when I succeed, it's because of the people I have around me. Right? It's so selfless that even if I'm not his friend, I'm like, what can I do to be that nigga's friend? Because that's a real nigga. It's like somebody that, you know, on a team. When the team does well, oh, that's the guys. The guys around me, that's why we win. When the team does bad, I gotta be better, right? And it's so subtle. I gotta be better to protect my friends. But I can't become the Pirate King without my friends. It is just this keen self-awareness that Luffy has, even though we sometimes label him as an idiot. He's not an idiot. He has just this innate ability to know what to do at the right times, what to say. It's uncanny. Again, he's special. I try not to compare Luffy to other characters just because he's just so unique in different ways, especially for the One Piece story. And so, yeah, he's him. Luffy's that guy, man. I like talking about Luffy in a positive sense. It's so much that you realize when you just take the time to pay attention, because it's very simple on its surface, right? I want to be strong, become the pirate, can protect my friends, whatever. But it's layered, right? It's layered. But yeah, I'm happy we continue. But guys, give me your thoughts. What are your thoughts? Keep the questions coming. The comments will be coming every single week. I do really love making these videos. Thank you guys so much for the support. People, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Please stay safe if you can. Prayers up for all the people that are in situations that are out of their control, right? Because, you know, it's jokes on Twitter. People are going to joke or whatever, but, you know, people are really going through it in their lives. So be safe if you can, right? You're in my thoughts and my prayers. It's great that we can connect through One Piece in different avenues like this. Again, like the video if you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Again, thank you guys. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost.